Become a supporter of our Patreon today, where you get access to a ton of perks. Not only can you participate in polls such as today's episode, but you can make midnight screenings requests and take part in bi-weekly AMAs. And you can also enter our Patreon exclusive contests as well, such as our latest contest featuring Brahms the Boy 2 memorabilia. Are you a huge fan of Brahms the Boy 2? Well, you probably won't have to compete with many others. Universal Pictures sent us a ton of exclusive merchandise that can now be yours. Yeah, sure, we got a Blu-ray of the movie, which I'll autograph, but also a comfortable Brahms the Boy 2 blanket, a notebook for your Boy 2 fanfiction, ooh, a collection of dominoes, chocolate popcorn mix, and creepy gummies. Ooh, I hope they're made of dummies. Oh man, these look delicious. Even I want to like this movie now. Enter this contest and several other perks by contributing to patreon.com/thecinemasnob. As you can see, the winner of this week's Patreon poll is, of course, Dreamer. The hell, again? Oh, wait, I'm looking at the wrong poll. With a whopping 32%, whoa, slow down! Night of the Creeps came away as the winner because, of course, it's still too dangerous to go on vacation due to the virus. Soup for One came in second, but as one commenter puts it, Soup for One needs to stay in the poll for a few more months. See, this guy gets it. But we got an excellent choice today, the 1986 horror comedy Night of the Creeps from the great Fred Dekker, who served as writer and director. The film is a loving send-up of classic 50s B-movies, all about college kids, zombies, and of course shit weasels. Not only does the film pay respects to other horror sci-fi directors with its locations, but also character names that reference George Romero, John Carpenter, Tobe Hooper, David Cronenberg, James Cameron, John Landis, Sam Raimi, and Steve Miner. The film makes an excellent after-hours double feature with Dekker's other horror love letter, The Monster Squad. Plus, with the movie starring Jason Lively, finally we have a proper spin-off starring Rusty Griswold. Well, I'd better stop yammering and watch the movie. It's what the voters want! Wait, scrolling? Is it over already? The voters picked a short one for me today. Or is this my insides after eating a Shack-a-Roni pizza? For some reason, I have the opening to The Shining in my head. Maybe I should add that to the polls sometime. Ah yes, Night of the Creeps, that's what I'm watching. It's gonna get awfully handsy in here. But as the movie picks up where Dekker and Shane Black's The Predator leaves off, we are introduced to the Predator babies. It's a naked slumber party gone way wrong. So much alien ass here. 2 out of 10 would maybe drunkenly bang. You know, as a kid, I thought this was where all the tubes at a bank drive-thru came from. Oh, wait, what's this? Did I just switch over to another movie? No, House on Sorority Row is one of the other movies in the Tox box. This can't be the 50s. I don't see Arch Hall Jr. inventing rock and roll anywhere nearby. It seems like there's always going to be bad news in this town.
Authorities at the Crest Ridge Institute for the Criminally Insane have requested an all-points bulletin.
Probably nothing. Killers and invaders were the norm. I miss the MST3K silhouette. This feels like a hilarious short about how their lives will be ruined if they don't pass home ec. She's gonna have a good night though. Johnny is inviting her to bang point.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Are you kidding? Putting heads on shoulders in 1959 led straight to pregnancy. Look, it was either an awkward run-in with Officer Ex-Boyfriend, or we parked the car next to the Zodiac Killer, or a comet. If that's Nuki, I'm gonna be pissed. Not gonna lie, this Unsolved Mysteries reboot has really upped the reenactment budget. Look, in the 50s, if you saw something come from space, you had to immediately investigate. Radiation didn't exist back then. But what about that escaped killer?
Who, officials confirm, killed 4 orderlies in a brutal spree early tonight.
Excellent. Maybe he could fight the alien. This is just a regular Friday night at Corman University. That's the school where they study Charles Band movies. And probably get possessed by aliens. And that's how the 50s invented fun-size Snickers. He's not missing anything. She's about to die, and the movie's gonna switch over to something else. What the hell, Pledge Week? Why that's, I don't know, any of these episodes titled Pledge Week, take your pick. Every weekend there's an excuse to TP the school, so they just keep it like this year-round. This is Chris, who has his own Robert Downey Jr. from Back to School. He's there to give him love at first sight advice. After Until September, I'm just going to assume this is going to get creepy.
Think that's the Morton Salt girl. How the hell should I know? Hey, you, honey! Toots!
Oh, never mind. He's Ducky. Our heroes go into the beta house where I don't know how it's gonna happen, but Ogre is definitely gonna set that disco ball on fire with his trophy of beer. Keeping an open container around here is dangerous thinking. That cup says Pepsi, but it's really RC Cola. Perhaps JC here can help with Chris's crush.
Cynthia, my time is limited, much like the intellect of Steve.
JC stands for Jesus Christ, JC. Cynthia knows shenanigans when she sees them. She was in Porky's. Unfortunately, there's only one way Chris feels he can get in good with Cynthia.
You guys want to pledge the betas?
Mm-hmm. Whoa, I know what movie the remote's gonna switch to next. They must show an act of devotion to the fraternity. They go to the city to get a hooker and then rent a copy of Vamp. Oh, but bad news, Cynthia has a boyfriend, and it's Brother Spader. The boys, however, must get the secret emergency kegger held by Dr. David Paymer. The fraternity's gonna love them for this. Just don't touch!
What the hell are you doing?
He released coronavirus, bro. Could be worse. The next room over is holding Bud the Chud. Clearly, this means they should just let this frozen man out. Wait a minute, that's Johnny from the 50s. He's gonna kill them all with I Like Ike pins. Or some other more germ-centric way.
My God.
Dude, at least sanitize that. Chris and JC may not have had a great night, but they had a memorable one that calls for a speech.
I bust my ass to help you, and you get chicken shit again. And I push, and I push, and I don't give up. And why?
It's from his one-man show, 80s Buddy! All kidding aside, Steve Marshall is really good in this. No one expects a deep monologue from an 80s horror comedy, but I'm glad it's there! However, the movie must still turn its cool meter up a notch. Meanwhile, every day at Tom Atkins' house. Why yes, when I get high as hell, I also watch Dr. No and pretend that Bond is Tom. And then I start having a really bad trip. My God, my life is just like Detective Cameron's here. This crime scene may look bad, but don't worry, we've got Dr. Stephen Paymer on standby, along with giving this murder some style.
Now, Bullwinkle Moose. Thrill me.
Too late. I already have a massive hard-on. Okay, where are the zombies and how can we pin this on some college kids? Some things never change. Whether it's the 50s or the 80s, someone at some point is going to steal my damn license plate. They're gonna figure out the hard way that it was a mistake to thaw out JJ Gross Out Gombrowski. No sorority window is safe from creeps. That is classic Johnny, always setting up for the unofficial sequel Slither. This was the only movie that Johnny actor Ken Herron was in, so I can only assume they really killed him. There's all kinds of drama going on. Look at this confrontation. There's more beef here than at the orgy tonight. No one is safe. Hashtag not all Brads. Cynthia may leave him, but Brad doesn't need this shit anyway. He's got 2 new kids to terrorize. As for Chris and JC, look, if you guys can sign this form saying you did all of this, we can go on about our day. Unfortunately, shenanigans were perfectly legal in the 80s, so I don't know if they can make this stick. It's only gonna get more dangerous too. I told you 100 times, do not eat Jason Voorhees' heart. This will always happen. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to take a break because I have the sudden urge to jerk off in the bushes. It's what keeps the slugs away. Now that I'm done jerking off, I guess I can catch up on my phone calls.
Hey, babe. It's the Bradster.
You are stealing my moves! But with the shocking revelation that the frat guy is an asshole, guess it couldn't hurt trying her luck with Chris and a romantic walk outside.
This is excellent. Night of the Living Dead Cat.
Unfortunately, he insists on bringing his mood killer with him. He does give them some time alone, though, as he waits in the bathroom for someone to thoroughly challenge him on his impressive and vast expertise on Stryper. See, that guy didn't know the first thing about Stryper. The space worm effects here are really good. I honestly don't want him to set them on fire. And sadly, he gets defeated before he can go to the nearest store and buy all of the salt they have. Or plan B could be to blow up the whole town like the movie Slugs did. Uh-oh, date's going well, I guess.
Yeah, but, what about Brad?
Brad's an asshole.
I know that.
Hey, I gave you my blessing! We need to end the night on an intense note, which is why Tom Atkins invites him over for scotch and more scotch. I would joke here, but I would much rather just watch Tom Atkins be awesome. Yes, I know there's a Toontown reference or something dangling in front of me. He's talking about getting revenge on the 50s killer by blowing a hole through the man's chest. Good God, why wasn't he up for an Oscar for this? He's great. My attention is up, unlike some people. Falling asleep while watching Plan 9 from Outer Space happens to the best of us. Speaking of the killer, we should all be so lucky. Whenever I watch an Ed Wood movie, no axe-wielding maniacs ever show up to hit me in the face. And I doubt Tom Atkins would ever investigate my death.
We used a different stretcher for every piece. We'd be here all night.
You did this, didn't you? They got all the best cops on the lookout. Look, there's Officer Robert Kerman, waiting for documentary footage about the town cannibals. And he escapes due to the power of his giant penis. This zombie isn't gonna last a day with these people in charge. Okay, it's not over yet, but the slugs are on their way to a nearby garden. Plus, it's now a documentary about very realistic sorority life. And on the night of the big dance, where the winner gets to pose for the box cover for Night of the Creeps. But where's his date, JC?
There's one inside me. Got in through my mouth.
Practicing for tomorrow's monologue. Guess I gotta go look for him. Oh man, now who's gonna be awkward around my dates? At least some people are having a good night.
I think Cindy blew him off. Oh, bogus, man. He must be bummed.
I'd advise no one get on board Rape Bus. Brad, meanwhile, is set up with a real dog, and only one man can stop this.
What?
They got alfalfa.
I'm gonna need some context for that kid. Not everyone is in danger. Dick Miller keeps himself safe after he tried selling one of these guns to the Terminator. Damn, everyone wants Dick Miller's guns. Hurry up, there's a bus full of zombie frat boys. Ugh, this movie is too good. Why can't it be like Black Christmas 2019 and just spend 90 minutes lecturing me about what it's satirizing? On the plus side, Brad looks less douchey than usual. Too bad he has to die. Don't you worry about him. He'll be buried in his mama's family plot.
Sorry, Brad. Don't take it personal.
Oh, I'm taking this very personal. They are armed and ready for this climax, and then dancing. The chaperone is here.
The good news is your dates are here.
What's the bad news?
They're dead.
We have a tagline. Now this is the movie I wanted out of the Tommy Lee Jones comedy Man of the House. They got guns and flamethrowers, but do they have one-liners?
It's Miller time.
And if that doesn't destroy them, the excellent camera work will. What would JC do if he were here? Probably call the zombies toots, of course. Fortunately, years of watching Dead Alive every Friday night has paid off, while Tom Atkins is going a little too far in finding Amanda Hunsaker's killer. And hey, do you have a fear of worms or slugs? You're gonna love this next sequence. It's gonna take ultimate badassery to blow up these creatures along with a blinded Michael Myers. In this universe, it's Donald Pleasance who goes off to star in Halloween 3. Fire is obviously not strong enough to kill Tom Atkins, so best set up for a sequel. At least in this particular ending, something tells me a studio note version would contain the line, "And now we take the fight to them." This is the director's cut ending, whereas the theatrical and home video ending featured the alien surviving through the zombie dog, which shoots its slug into Cynthia in a boo jump scare ending. Whichever ending you get, this is still a loving horror comedy worth watching. The movie sadly wasn't a success at the box office, but did acquire a big fan base over time, and was even Tom Atkins' personal favorite of his movies. Night of the Creeps was well liked by critics, and for obvious reasons. It pays homage to slashers, alien invasion movies, 50s horror flicks, zombie movies, and knows to be a genuinely good example of all of those genres. The film doesn't have an official sequel, but there was a 2007 film called Zombie Town with the alternate title of Night of the Creeps 2 in Germany, about as official as Day of the Dead 2, I'm sure. That does it for this episode. I'm the Cinema Snob. I used to hate everything, and now I don't. I've grown so much. In terms of my taste in movies. Height, no, not at all. I'm actually shrinking.
What is this, a homicide or a bad B movie?